The Cowboys Emergency Podcast. Oh, they're going for it all.
I want me some glory hole.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome into Cowboys Emergency Podcast Part 2. Because as soon as we finished Part 1 on the Kaiir Elam trade, the Cowboys signed a man. And the man that they signed was Jack Sanborn. They're hitting every part of the 2022 NFL draft right now, a first-round pick and an undrafted free agent. Jack Sanborn is coming from the Chicago Bears. He is a linebacker, and he is headed to the Dallas Cowboys, and we're going to have Clarence Hill start here because he pulled over to do this, and we will not allow him to drive and podcast. So, Clarence, say words and then get out.
You know, it's interesting because here's the guy that the Bears didn't even offer as an exclusive rights trade. He was a tendered exclusive. They didn't even tender him, so they didn't even want him back.
Oh,
you know, and guy that started games, special teams guy, last undrafted free agent, certainly has a connection with Matt Eberflus, but the Bears didn't even tender him as an exclusive rights free agent, which tells you something about him. I know it's easy to say, well, the Cowboys need linebackers and need a body, and he can come in and start. I don't know. Clearly, he knows the defense. But it's strange to me that as an exclusive rights free agent, the Bears wouldn't even tender him a contract. Not even an undrafted number.
Joe and I are going to make people feel better. Cut Clarence out of the damn picture. Clarence, go to the doctor. Get him out. Jill got to go. Got to go. Out. Throw him out of the club pop. No, that's not who's leaving. Throw him. Yep, there we go. Now we're cooking. Okay. Hey, Joe, how you doing, buddy?
Yeah, I'm good, man. Negative Nancy over there and Clarence coming in hot, ignoring the fact that they've had a significant defensive change over there in Chicago. And they said, hey, maybe we want to start new with some new linebackers. Listen, Jack Sanborn is not going to be, there's a reason he was an undrafted free agent. There's a reason, to Clarence's point, that he was on the market, right? But this is a guy that fits Matt Eberflus' system. This is a guy Bears fans love. Do you want some perspective? Go talk to CHGO, our friends over there, about what they think of this guy. He is a ball player. He's a guy with spot starting experience. He is classic Wisconsin linebacker tough. This is a guy that, you go look at what he's done from a PFF perspective. This is a guy that is a solid starting linebacker in the NFL potentially.
All right, I'm going to tell you this, Joe. I'm a big believer in what do fans of the team he left think. Kaiir Elam trade, Bills fans were like, hell yeah, we got something. Bears fans are doing a lot of sad faces about losing Jack Sanborn. And to your point, he has been a starter. He has started games. When Roquan Smith got hurt, he started for him. He started, 20 football games? Mm-hmm. And I'm going to tell you something about Jack Sanborn. And I want you to know it's not based on his appearance. Okay?
There's a clear bias going on here between who liked Jack Sanborn so far and who hasn't. I'm just saying.
Wisconsin linebacker. It's really all the words you need. Run stopping, yes. Playing forward, yes. Playing backward and sideways, not so much. So I'll go watch him. But to your point, you mentioned his PFF grades. If you go to Pro Football Focus, coverage grade, bad. Run defense and pass rush, good. If you go back to his combine time, sub 7 second 3-cone, that's guys who can rush the passer. So we were talking about it as we finished talking about Kaiir Elam, where the first thing I'm thinking of is, all right, but what are you going to do at linebacker? And the answer is, in very Cowboy fashion, they are going to get a guy on the roster that they believe, if they need him to, can start football games, and we're going to buy time. And then we're going to be able to draft pure. We're not going to feel too forced to do anything. And yeah, if the season started today, it might be Marist Liufau and Jack Sanborn. I don't know. The wild card in the Cowboys linebacker core to me is Damone Clark, because I think he's okay. And I feel like the last coaching regime must have just hated him. And I don't feel like he was real happy either. And so I don't know about his future. But yeah, there's a chance that Jack Sanborn is the guy who's going to go out there and start next to Marist Liufau. So this is one that I haven't seen numbers on, but it's one that this is the sort of business you're supposed to do. I go back to what I said on our DLLS Cowboys podcast today. I like a lot of the things that they've done. It's just when you're existing in a world where other teams that you're chasing, it's like, oh, looky there, Laramie Tunsil and Deebo Samuel. And you're like, hey, yeah, Jack Sanborn and Kaiir Elam. The Cowboys are doing the things they're supposed to do. in patching up the roster to get ready to draft. And, that's part of the game. That's part of the game. So this one, I like it. How about that? I like it.
I like it too. And I think when you look at Jack Sanborn, this is a guy, if they're starting tomorrow and it's day one of the NFL season tomorrow, I think he is starting next to Maris Liufau, and that is their starting linebacker in core. And I think Sanborn is a guy that you can count on. It's a one-year deal, mind you. This guy, for the next year, you can count on, hey, maybe we do go Damone Clark, starting, and then he has to slip up and it's fallen off. You know what? Hey, Sanborn, get in there. Or maybe, hey, we draft Chris Paul from Ole Miss in the 3rd round, and he's having some rookie struggles and it's not going great. Hey, Sanborn, get in there, right? And I don't think anyone's ever going to be upset when they see the high effort that Jack Sanborn's going to give, play in and play out. At the very least, he's going to be also a great special teams guy for you. Sanborn is just kind of something, and I'm starting to pick this up. This is another depth piece potentially, right? But I think he has the most starting upside of anyone we've seen the Cowboys sign so far, frankly. But this is another guy that has a high effort personality kind of associated with him. Same thing with Solomon Thomas. Same thing with Rob Jones. Same thing with Javonte Williams. These are guys that you can count on to give 110%. And I know that is not something fans want to hear, frankly. And I know they're like, hey, well, why don't you go get Deebo Samuel, who's got a lot of talent and a high effort? I agree. Trust me. I also agree with that to a certain extent. But I think that this is something the Cowboys are prioritizing under Brian Schottenheimer is guys that actually, frankly, care and who are going to give their full effort. And I think this is something at this stage in free agency, I don't hate at all. Someone who has starting upside potential, adds depth, and can be someone that you rely on multiple facets of your team. I like it a lot. And the underrated thing, too, new defensive system, right? We saw what did Mike Zimmer do pretty quickly last year when the Cowboys hired him? Go get me Eric Kendricks, right? Because you just need someone that can at least relay information, can be a translator for you, has a smart head on the shoulders, and can kind of dictate to everyone else about what they're supposed to do. Jack Sanborn can do that for Matt Eberflus and the rest of the Chicago Bears staff that came in here under new head coach Brian Schottenheimer.
We like it. I like all the words you say about him, too, because it really helps reinforce stereotypes. If Jack Sanborn is a real
first one in, last one out,
high motor, lunch pail, hard hat kind of guy. And it's one of those things where some of the things they've done, I feel like what the Cowboys have really done so far is they've just fast forwarded by a week or two, even though they're 100%. Signing the same sort of guys they did a year ago. Maybe in some cases it's better, but in this case, I think it's totally fine. The only one that I'm kind of looking at sideways for the moment is Javonte Williams as your signing, because if you were going to dive down to the bottom of the running back pool, there's a reason that he signed so quickly at such a low number, because you were the team that called. If it turns out there's other running backs on the market that are better, that are going to go for the same price, you were just in a hurry because you were mad at us for being mad at you for never doing free agency. That one, if Rico signs for something near Javonte Williams, I'm going to be like, oh God, what have you done? But in the case of this, you had a need. This is a guy who, unlike the trade they just made, and I hope that Kaiir Elam is able to be a capable NFL starter for the Cowboys. I hope that. And as a former first-round pick, they were willing to trade something for him. This is the exact opposite. Same draft class. He declared for the 2022 NFL draft. He was undrafted, and he's earned his way onto the field. And he's played for 3 straight years, and he makes plays at and behind the line of scrimmage. He can step in and play your strong side linebacker or your middle linebacker. So I like it. They went to 2 different ends of the spectrum. One is we can save him, we can fix him. And one is, oh, he's been fairly useful, and we know him. Eberflus obviously is going to know him, and we feel like we can trust him. So I like it. I like it. You got a linebacker. We did it. We did a thing.
Jeff, really quickly, I think there's 2 themes. I think the Cowboys have a theme right now with their entire offseason. And it's, I don't hate the result, but it's the wrong process to get there. The same exact thing with Brian Schottenheimer, where it's like, I actually like the hire of Brian Schottenheimer, but the process to get there, completely terrible. Not good, frankly. Didn't interview a lot of people, didn't canvas, did the wrong thing, right? Free agency so far. I like a lot of the moves they're making in terms of filling out the back end of the roster and getting depth pieces for them. Just not on March 11th yesterday, March 12th today. Sanborn, I will say, is the one exception to this. I wouldn't have hated this on Monday. I wouldn't have hated this today. I wouldn't have hated this a month from now. I think Sanborn is a guy that the moment he was not tendered, a lot of Cowboy fans said, I think he ends up with Matt Eberflus in the Cowboys. And here it came into fruition today.
It is the one thing that is quite bothersome if you're a Cowboy fan, especially when you're on a run like they are of not drafting great, not using free agency, and letting a lot of people walk. Guess what that ends up with? I let people leave who other people do want. I didn't bring in new people that I want, and I haven't brought in really good players in the draft, at least in terms of numbers that can contribute to my football team. You end up with a pretty barren roster. And now, because you're still averse to what they would think, well, that's not a great deal for us. Right. Everybody who signed the guys at the top of free agency feels that way. But they also felt like we also really want to get better and not just make sure humans are on the roster. It's okay to be like, man, we really thought we would have loved to give him $2 million per year less than that. But you had to do it because the goal is to win the Super Bowl. So I don't like that they're not messing around at the top of it at all. Wherever they have needs, they're just plugging the leaky ship. And that's important because I want to be able to draft pure. And I don't want to be forced to do things. But also at a spot of weakness, it's okay to look at the best guys available and be like, hey, what if we plugged the hole with a guy who's really good at this? Not just we won't drown, but we could actually go a little faster in our boat. But Sanborn, we like. Jeff and Joe hopping on the live for Jack Sanborn, the realest in the business. You damn straight, baby. No story too small for Cowboy fans. Shout out to Michael, who just came in the super chat and gave us $1.99. That's what I'm talking about. What a hero. If anything else happens, we might be right back.
Yeah. Can I give one quote before we leave that I heard today that's been on my mind ever since?
As long as it's from Sun Tzu.
It is from Sun Tzu, The Art of War. No, it's from Andrew Friedman from the Dodgers. And the idea is, and I'm paraphrasing here, if you're always going to do rational deals and basically enjoy third place, right? If you're only going to set your market at, we want to sign them to the money that's rational, right? Well, you're always going to be outbid by 1 to 2 people. Sometimes you got to make your rational signings. And I think right now that's my whole thing with the Cowboys. They're not willing to make any irrational moves or even to tip their toe into a pool of irrationality. They need to do that.
That's good. Now I'm going to leave you with a quote from a character named Wit from the Stormlight Archives, who once said, like a fashionable dress, stupidity can be fetching in youth, but looks particularly bad on the aged. That's all.
Are you saying I can't wear nice stuff when I get older? Is that what you're saying?
No, once you said you were going to do a quote, I picked a random character from one of my books and I looked up quotes so that I could just give a quote. All right, everybody, go team. We're going to do all the good stuff. There's Joe. Hold on. Let me get Joe's sound effect.
Tell him something, Joe.
I'm me.
My name is Jeff.
And that was the latest edition of Is It the Hot Dog or Is It the Bun?
No, this is a hot dog bun. I think it's a hot dog, too.
And if you think they screwed it up, why not start the day that way?
Why not just start the day picking it up?
Remember, you have no idea what anybody's going through, so be cool to everybody. We love you. Be easy.